Okay, Friday, right around 2 p.m. I know everybody's excited um, to hear about what's going to happen next week with the Christmas holiday and the New Year's holiday coming up here in the next couple of weeks. And of course, it all starts next week, and we're going to try to get into that right now. What you're looking at is the jet stream level over the United States, and I'm going to show you the reason why I'm still concerned about some work ahead for all of us as we head into next week, especially right around later Tuesday into Wednesday. So, right on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, unfortunately. And then as we head into next weekend. And a lot of it has to do with the jet stream. And remember, I forecast from the top down. So, in other words, I don't look at surface features, I don't look at quantitative precipitation forecast like many others do when making a forecast, especially this far out. What I look at most importantly is from about 500 millibars on up to 250 millibars, which is basically from about 15,000 feet up to 30 to 35,000 feet, our atmosphere, because those are our steering winds, and you can tell a lot about what's going to happen in the future from the jet stream. Okay, so let's just get right to it. This is the jet stream for this weekend now. This is from the GFS computer model guidance. Now take a look. We have winds blowing basically from west to east across Minnesota. This isn't a very favorable environment, not for precipitation and for cold air for that matter. So that's the reason why we're expecting fairly dry conditions this weekend and into early next week. And then, of course, the warm temperatures. Now, of course, you always know this, especially those of you that have been watching these videos. We look for these jet streaks because usually around these jet streaks, on the nose of a jet streak and the left front quad of a jet streak is where precipitation likes to develop. So that's the reason why out on the west coast of the United States, there's going to be quite a bit of precipitation this weekend because that's where the strongest winds are and that's where the jet streak is located. Now look at what happens as we get into Christmas Eve, so Tuesday of next week, then into Wednesday. That jet streak now is right over Minnesota and Wisconsin. So although we're going to be right underneath the jet streak, which isn't a favorable area, we're going to be close enough to the edges of that jet streak so that we have to worry about precipitation, especially as we get into Tuesday night and Wednesday morning, because right here you can clearly see a trough. It's not a large trough, but at least a subtle trough that moves across the upper Midwest as we get into Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. So that's going to be one of my major focuses. And then looking way ahead as we get into Friday and Saturday, look at this fairly major trough that develops over the upper Midwest, and then this jet streak south of us over Illinois, Missouri, and Tennessee. That would again put us in a favorable area as we get into Friday night and Saturday for some sort of precipitation. And because it's so warm out, and because I'm expecting warm temperatures for the next several days, it's going to be tough to get snow out of this, but we could cool just enough to get snow. Okay, here's the European computer model guidance. Now, this is the jet stream again. Now, remember, the last guidance we looked at was the American, the GFS model guidance. Now, here's the Euro guidance. And look at what it has for the jet stream. It looks very similar as we get into this weekend and then early next week. And then again, as we start focusing on Tuesday and Wednesday morning, and let's look at that time frame again. So Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, you can clearly see a trough located right here, right over southern Minnesota, okay? And we're actually getting that comma type shape, that comma shape that we often look for in a jet stream structure. And here it is over the upper Midwest and Great Lakes area. So because of that, I'm worried that we're going to get some precipitation to break out, even though current computer model guidance has us dry, or mostly dry for Tuesday night and Wednesday. I am worried that the upper level dynamics over southern Minnesota, Iowa, and Wisconsin are going to favor some precipitation as we get into Tuesday night and into Wednesday. We'll keep a close eye on that, of course, and update you guys as we go through the weekend. But anyway, the jet stream looks favorable for snow or for some sort of precipitation and maybe ice or just plain old rain as we get into Tuesday night and Wednesday. But we certainly need to be worried about some wintry precipitation. And then, of course, as we go through Friday night and into Saturday morning, we get that much more powerful trough now developing over the upper Midwest. Hence, the reason why, even though guidance isn't showing a winter storm yet, at least from a precipitation standpoint, over the upper Midwest, there's no doubt that the jet stream looks quite favorable for a rather powerful storm system right over southern Minnesota, Wisconsin, northern Illinois as we get into the early portions of next weekend. Um, so an active weather pattern starting to set up. Okay, here is the future radar from the European Computer Model Guidance. And you can see as we just go through this weekend, there's nothing going on over the upper Midwest, just way too dry out and too warm for any wintry precipitation this weekend. It's kind of weird saying that it's too warm for wintry precipitation when we're in late December, but that is the case. And then as we go into Tuesday night and Wednesday, you can see just a brief area or a small area of some ice and maybe even a spit of snow developing over the upper Midwest, including the Twin Cities, Eau Claire, Rochester areas as we get into Wednesday. So that's what the European guidance is showing. It's not showing anything big for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. It's certainly something that we need to keep our eye on in case we plug into some more moisture than what is currently expected. And then we have our eyes solely focused on the weekend and watch what happens. This is why I'm a little worried. The European guidance does not show any precipitation over the upper Midwest on Saturday of next weekend. But watch what it does once we get into Saturday and Sunday. It explodes a winter storm right over Wisconsin and Michigan. Now, there's no reason why that storm system couldn't track just a little bit further north and west. And if it does, that would put us in a winter storm area for next weekend. A long ways away. Of course, I'm not going to focus too much on that right now because there's going to be a lot of changes between now and then. But the main story here again is that we're getting into a more active weather pattern as we get into the Christmas Eve, Christmas Day time frame, and then looking into the New Year's weekend. Okay, I'm sending you this, of course, this trigger graph, but we'll take a quick look at it now before I let you guys go. And here you can see I'm more concerned about ice than anything as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday. All right, and I think that's the time frame to keep an eye on. Again, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, bad timing, but that's what we're up against. And then there is, especially as we get into Wednesday morning, maybe Wednesday afternoon, I am concerned that this could change over to some snow, and we could get some accumulating snow. My confidence is fairly low yet on that right now, but I think it does need to be said. We need to monitor this storm system closely as we get into this weekend and then early next week. Now, look at the temperatures, by the way. This thaw is going to continue through the weekend with low 40s expected over the weekend, and then we stay above freezing, at least for highs, for much of next week. And even the overnight lows are above our average highs for the most part for the next 6 to 7 days. So quite a warm weather pattern and then a more active weather pattern as we head into later next week and then the weekend. All right, we will continue to keep you up to date. Take care.